From BBC Radio Scotland, this is Sports Sound.
Don't be stupid, boys. Turn off Clyde, support your side.
I would like to leave this city. This old town don't smell too pretty, and I can feel the warning signs running around my mind. And when I leave this island, I book myself into a soul asylum, 'cause I can feel the warning signs running around my mind. So here I go, I'm still scratching around in the same old hole. My body feels young but my mind is very old. So what do you say? You can't give me the dreams that are mine anyway. I've been found, but I don't feel bad.
From jumpers for goalposts in the town of Uddingston, to ripping apart Real Madrid in the Bernabeu Stadium, and only 5'4", but a giant of a man. Frankie called him the JJ man. Frankie called him the JJ man. The lord of the wing and the master of his arts, and the young crown king of football was a wee man from View Park. He was better and the best, and Georgie knew it too. And they called him the JJ man. And they called him the JJ man. And do you believe that a man could fly? The loudest roar in the lion's side. And now he's gone, legends never die. That's a JJ man. That's a JJ man. For the European Cup, Jock's Lions they did play against Inter Milan on the 25th of May, and we won it playing football the Glasgow Celtic way. Big Jock, you're immortal now. Big Jock, you're immortal now. And do you believe that a man could fly? The loudest roar in the lion's side. And though he's gone, his legends never die. That's a JJ man. That's a JJ man. Go! Go! It's a JJ man. Oh, Celtic Park erupted when the wee man got the ball. And the Jungle Boys would make such noise while the world looked on in awe. Our greatest ever player and the pride of Birkinshaw. And the whole world knew ya. We still love you. And do you believe that a man could fly? The loudest roar in the lion's sight. Though he's gone, his legends never die. That's a JJ man. That's a JJ man. And do you believe that a man could fly? The loudest roar and the lion's sign. Though he's gone, his legends never die. It's a JJ man. It's a JJ man. And do you believe that a man could fly? Loudest roar in the lion's sight. Though he's gone, his legends never die. That's a JJ man. It's a JJ man. That's a JJ man. I'm calling the JJ man. And God bless the JJ man. And they call him the JJ man. And I love the JJ man. That's a JJ man. And they call him the JJ man. That's a JJ man. That's a JJ man. That's a JJ man. That's a JJ man.
Good day, good evening, good afternoon, or good morning wherever you are in the world. You're listening to the Half the World Away Celtic podcast from Hail Hail Media. My name's Kevin O'Neill and I'm based in Mandurah in Western Australia, originally from Coatbridge, and as always joined all the way over in Melbourne, Victoria. My good friend, comrade, housewife's favourite, originally from Airdrie, Mr. Patrick Close. G'day, Pat.
G'day, Kevin boy. You can't call me Housewife's favourite anymore.
How?
Because that mantle's been taken by, I think it's Louis McCaffrey and the 90 Minute Cynic podcast.
Oh, is that right?
Yep, so you have to find a new name. So get
Well,
that right up you.
But I reckon you're still the Daniel O'Donnell of this podcast.
Well, actually, maybe were we first to use it? Oh, no. Well, I think there's an email coming in, 90 Minute Cynic guys. But no, they're in good form at the moment. So yes, I had a bit of a chuckle when the old Louis was introduced as a housewife's favourite.
That's good. Taking your mantle off you then.
Well, I was thinking, I don't know whether I should try and fight for that title. You know what I mean? Whether I should get in there and say I'm not happy with that. We were first.
You're still my housewife's favourite.
Well, okay, that's nice, Kev. You're full of it anyway.
Anyway, Kev. But you're not actually a housewife.
I'm not a housewife, no, but
no, he's my housewife's favourite. Aye, my wife's.
Your wife's favourite. There you go.
Now you can also hear the dulcet tones of our other panellist this evening and regular Mr. Martin Kelly. G'day, Martin.
Hi, Kev. How are you, mate?
Very good, buddy. You?
I'm good, mate. I'm good.
That is good, sir. And we've also got a regular man on the show tonight again, up in Osaka, Japan, Mr. Liam Carrigan. G'day, Liam. How are you?
Good day, boys. Hail, hail. How we doing?
Very good, mate. Very good. So, without further ado, lads, if you want to interact with us tonight on the show, you can get in touch with us on Twitter. You can send your tweets to @halftheworld88. That's @halftheworld88. So any questions or any comments or any wind-ups you'd like to interact with us while the show is live, if you are listening, or one or two of you maybe, then you're more than welcome to do that. Alternatively, if you're on Spreaker, you can leave some comments in the chat room. Pat will try his best to keep his eye on that. And there is a few of us on this tonight, so usually we would say, you're more than welcome to Skype us in if you are listening and you want to come on and make a few points, but we might struggle just due to the four of us being on. We sometimes it's a bit difficult if there's more than four on, but you never know. We can give it a go, and if it doesn't work out, then I'll bail out. We'll see.
We'll bump you.
We'll see how we go. So, guys, we'll kick off tonight by we're not going to do too much of a recap on the games that have been since we were last on, but we will give it a go. What's happening there, Pat? I'm getting a bit of feedback. Don't know. Okay. I'm getting a bit of feedback from something I said about 20 seconds ago. It's gone. Right. It's gone now, though. But what I should mention before we start, at the intro there, it was our usual intro, but then we had a song by the Wakes called The Uncrowned King of Football. Now that's, if you listen to it, you obviously worked it out, or you've maybe heard it plenty of times before. It's about wee Jinky Johnson, and it was just a few hours before we came on here tonight. I'd seen a tweet and just saying that it was 9 years ago today that wee Jinky actually passed away. So I do remember the day very well, to be honest. But to think that it was 9 years ago, I was quite surprised. I won't say too much more than that, but I just thought it would be nice, and thankfully Pat managed to tee up that song just as a wee tribute to Jimmy Johnson, so may he rest in peace. We're going to have something else as we play out the show as well. It's another anniversary, but I'll leave that for now, and Liam can talk about that later on as we play the show out. But what we're going to kick off by doing, we'll do a very quick review of what we've missed out on since we were last on, guys, and then we'll have certainly a look ahead to the big game coming up this Sunday, League Cup final against Dundee United. But the first thing about Liam always does the run list for us and these things. He does a great job out of them as well, but he's so eloquently put it as usual as the Aberdeen scalping. So I guess it's a little while ago, guys, since we beat them, but let's face it, Aberdeen they've been talked up, maybe not so much by themselves, but they were certainly getting talked up by the media. They certainly, I think, going into that game, they thought they could do something against us. Certainly, if they were going to be challenging for this league as they have been, there's no doubt about that. They have been challenging, but really, if they were serious about winning the league this season, they really did have to come to Celtic Park and beat us. And Liam, we put them to the sword, I think it's fair to say.
Aye. I think scalping was quite an appropriate way of putting it.
I think so.
But you've got to say, though, they made a decent game of it. For the first sort of half an hour, I think Aberdeen were actually the slightly stronger team.
Yep.
I don't think they were slightly better. I think they were significantly better. I don't think we had a shot at goal. I think probably two, three really good chances. I think the fortunate thing for us is that they fell to the wrong players. I think it was defenders that were mainly fell that. So I think we were lucky to get to the point where, Dunderheid obviously scored, what was it, 35, 40 minutes, roughly. That's
round about then. But yeah.
And it wasn't so much backs to the wall, but they certainly had the running. But let's face it, taking half a step back, we were coming back from obviously the game in Milan against Inter. So I don't know about you guys, but my sort of first impression was we just looked flat from the get-go. We just looked flat, but I'll be honest, I was expecting that. Probably to a certain extent, I think we were kind of lucky to get to that sort of 30th minute without conceding a goal. But it could all have changed if one of those chances had gone in for Aberdeen. But Yeah, luckily Denial sort of set us on a path, and after that, I don't know what they did in the second half. It just fell apart. Really, let's face it.
Well, I think they knew they had to come out even more as well. But I think we had our house in order by that time anyway. I think maybe going into the game, it was difficult to judge how it would pan out because yes, it was a home game for us. We were facing a team in the SPL that were going to come at us like no other teams would have done in the Premier League. So you know they were going to try and have a go because, as I said before, they had to really win that if they were serious about trying to win this league this season. So I think there maybe was a bit of cat and mouse to start with, and we probably weren't too sure ourselves exactly how they would start the game. So I think that half, I would totally agree, they were the better team, but I don't think they caused us too much worry. There were a couple of chances that you thought, if that was somebody else there, they could have taken that chance a bit more, but it wasn't. I don't think we were severely under pressure. We just gave up a bit of possession to them. But as soon as we got that goal, it was a good time to score it. It was slightly before half time. But the second half, it was just pretty much cruise control, really. And I think we really did put them in their place. Was that your view of it, Martin? Did we, the young Aberdeen upstarts, did we give them a good slapping down?
Oh, look, I think Pat's right. Look, coming back for Italy, I think we were just tired. And generally, I think we'd done what we could out there. We came back. They did have a good crack for probably, 35 minutes, and then Celtic just decided to put their foot in the ball and finish it really, really well. I think they're this. I think they've got a good young team. If they can keep them together, I think they will put on a challenge for a couple of years. Whether they can mount a proper challenge, who knows? But realistically, and I'm off the top of my head, but without us and the old Rangers, when was the last time not one of us won the league? Would it be 84, 85, something like that? I'm thinking, I remember we did it in 86 at Love Street, so was it a year before that? Was it Dundee United or Aberdeen had won it? So you're talking
early 80s anyway, yeah.
Early 80s anyway, so this idea of, realistically, I think they will come back and challenge. Whether they'll win it, I don't know. I think eventually, obviously, somebody else will have to. But I think they played well, and we did what we had to do, and we gave them a scalping at the end.
So I mean, I know for a fact it was a good game for us to watch actually, because we were watching it. There was quite a few of us in Friar Tucks and Mandurah watching it because there was a public holiday in WA on the Monday, so it was quite good. We were able to see it and not worry about the early rise for work the next day. But there was a few songs of Championes. When it went to 3-0, there was songs of Championes. And then good old Jimmy Malk, he had bet 4-0 Celtic as well. So that was an even bigger cheer went up when that goal went in for him as well. But there was quite a lot of songs of Championes. But we fast forward then to the midweek. And that was our time to really pretty much sign, seal and deliver the league in terms of, beat St Johnstone in what should have been a very easily winnable game, you would have thought. And we blew up, really. There was an outstanding goal that beat us right enough from Danny Swanson, I think it was, that pinged it. But, I mean, that kind of... certainly, I did get up and watch it. And we didn't play badly, I have to say that. We didn't play badly. So I was very impressed with St Johnstone. They were very well organised. And I think they had a good kind of game plan. They were there to just kind of frustrate us. I wouldn't say they were there just to get every man behind the ball. They definitely broke when they could. And as I said, the goal that beat us was right out the top drawer, and we created our own chances, but we just didn't take them on the night. So I guess Liam, the point you had made in the run list that we're talking about, is this just a little momentary lapse, or is there some small signs being shown of maybe a bigger problem that we've got? And I suppose you could tie that into our performance against Dundee United at the weekend that we'll talk about shortly. But do you think that was just a game where we maybe thought we'll just turn up and it'll take care of itself, so we're going to beat them? Or do you think there is a bigger problem that we've got maybe just now?
I think we've always got to be aware of the dangers of complacency, because when you are Celtic, you're expected to win every game, and even more so since the Huns died. And it's like, football isn't that simple.
No,
you can't win every game just because you are Celtic. You have to retain a certain level of humility. And I think the St Johnstone game, and also I would say the first half of the Aberdeen game as well, should show us that we don't have a divine right to be the best team in Scotland. You still have to earn that, And I think that's where, I don't know if it's arrogance or complacency or just a feeling of inevitability, but we've got to overcome that. We've got to focus on every game and really make it, really earn it,
Yeah.
Do you think it was just one game too far, boys? Do you think it was just, we were going to lose it at some point, and it was just that game sort of thing? We didn't quite get the breaks in that. It was an absolute wonder goal that beat us. We'd beaten Aberdeen in that. Do you think, we got through the Inter game, we got through the Aberdeen game, and then it was just, we almost just took a deep breath type thing?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope that's all it was.
I think there was a bit of that, because if you look at the team that played, they shuffled it around a bit. Beaton was on the bench for a start. Matthews went off at half time, so Castle came on. So it was a slightly different team. So it's basically Stokes and Griffiths with basically two strikers for first time in Christ, as I can remember. Certainly not this season anyway. But
but Stokes wasn't really playing up as a striker either.
True.
He was still playing in that kind of left midfield type role.
True, but it was the team was mixed up a little bit. Beaton's fairly important to us, and the fact that he played, he was on he came on. He came on some stage. He came on later in the game, I think.
He did, yeah.
But with Castle, I don't know whether it was a tactical thing or whether Matthews got injured. I don't. All I can remember is with Castle coming on. I'll be honest, I didn't even know he was. I didn't even know he was on. Just appeared. He
didn't do.
He was on the ball. Was like, oh, geez, who's been off? You're kind of looking around the park trying to figure out who's gone off. So there's only those kind of scenarios for me.
From memory, he put one good cross in, right enough. Pretty much straight after he came on. But
was the Mackay Stephen one
after that?
Mackay Stephen, he kind of sclaffed. I think it was a good Scottish word. He sclaffed at it. Didn't quite catch the ball. I think it went over the bar or something. So. And you're right, that's all I remember him doing. So,
I think one of the issues, guys, and I think we suffered from this, and we might as well talk about it now as well. The game in general about Dundee United, we'll talk about the sendings off in a second, but something that I think is contributing to this kind of stuttering that we're doing just now. Effie Ambrose coming in as a right back. Now, Effie has been slaughtered by too many people. I still quite like Effie Ambrose. He can make some mistakes. I don't think he's a first team player now for us because I think that's, in terms of centre halves, it's Van Dijk and it's Denier, albeit there's a good chance neither of those guys will be there next season. But Effie, I know he plays as a fullback for the Nigerian national team, but he's not the type of player that either my first choice right back would be Lustig, or second choice, quite close behind Lustig, Matthews. He's not the same type of player as either of those guys. He's not good at going forward. He doesn't give you that outlet, and I think that's something that we were severely lacking against St Johnstone for part of that game, and certainly against Dundee United at the weekend. It's a different dimension to our play when we don't have that fullback on both sides bombing forward. And unfortunately, as you were saying, Pat, in the St Johnstone game when we had Wicastle at one side, and again, to me, that was just it's not the same as having Azagiri going down that flank in that position, because that's what he did come on and kind of play. So I think that's a contributing factor to some of our stuttering in the last two games. But let's talk about the Dundee United game now last weekend. So that was, of course, given that we're playing Dundee United every week for the next 12 weeks, let's just recap that it was a Scottish Cup game that we were playing. So ended up one each, obviously, as we know. But let's talk a little bit, guys, to get our views about the sending off fracas that happened after about 10 minutes in that game. I'll come at you first, Pat, to get your thoughts on it, though. We've probably seen the replays of it a few times, and we'll have had chance, and we've maybe heard another few podcasts and other people's views. But how did you see it, mate?
What, do you mean the whole game or the sending off? So
let's talk specifically just now about the sending off incidents.
Sending off, I probably don't have a similar view to what most people think, that probably barring Jackie McNamara, because I think it did all start from the Scott Brown tackle. I thought it was a shocking tackle, personally. And I sent a message to you guys today just on Facebook and stuff about, go in and watch the replay of, I think I sent the link on YouTube. Go in and watch it from this point on. He's getting, okay, I get it, he's maybe the hard player and all that sort of stuff, but going in with a two-footed tackle, whether it's Dundee United, or whether it's flipping Stranraer against Sevco or whoever, you just can't go in with a two-footed tackle against anybody. And I think that Chifche was actually pretty lucky to get away without injury. It hit him that badly. That's my take on it. In the whole thing, everything that sort of kicked off, probably I would take a punt and say that probably two players deserve to be sent off, in my opinion, and it was Scott Brown and the guy Butcher from Dundee United, because he basically tried to kick Van Dijk, because Van Dijk was so close, he ended up kneeing him in the balls pretty much. If you watch the replay, Van Dijk, I don't think really did very much, and Chifche, I'll be honest, I'm not totally convinced he actually meant to kick him in the head. I think if you look at the reaction, if you're going to kick somebody in the head, you're that sort of, you're that sort of how can I put it, angry and stuff like that. You're going to get up, you're going to square up to them, you're going to try and take it further, if you know what I mean. He wasn't really looking at what Brown was doing. His legs lashed out, and then he's got up and he's run after the ball. He's not really looking at Scott Brown, if you know what I mean. Scott Brown's standing there in a daze going, somebody's kicked me in the head, what's going on? But so I'm not. Yeah, I can see how he got let off. I mean, I can see why he would have been suspended, but I can see how they probably let him off in the fact that there's no proof that he actually meant to do it. But the Scott Brown tackle, Jesus, was shocking. I didn't like that at all. I don't think it's right. The way and I know that it's going to come back. You guys are going to come back and say you're talking pish, but imagine that was Ian Black. Imagine, take it all. If that was Ian Black against, just say, Lee Griffiths, or Ian Black against John Guidetti when we played them a few weeks ago, you'd be absolutely raging that guy should have been out for week upon week. So you can't justify by saying, oh, it's Scott Brown, that's all right, he's our captain and stuff, and it was a hard tackle. I don't personally think he got the ball. And if you look the way he's caught Chifche's ankle, I think it was his left ankle, I'm amazed he didn't come out that with an injury. So anyway, that's my take on it. But as I said, I don't proclaim it's going to be the same as everyone else's view, but I didn't like it. I didn't think it was very fair.
Did you see it any differently to Pat, Liam?
I can see where Pat's coming from, because the initial tackle was overzealous. I'll say that much. But again, this is something where if you've got a referee who can just employ a bit of common sense, it never needed to escalate to the level that it did.
Yep.
All you do is pull the two captains aside and say, right, look, this is a heated game, tensions are high, calm it down, or I'm going to start issuing cards. But by then flashing red cards right away, he sets a precedent for the rest of the game. Because that then means that any time a similar challenge happens, everybody's going to be going mental demanding a red card.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you see, I mean, back in the day, you know, when we used to play Rangers, you'd see it happening in games there. Somebody would fly in with a mental challenge in the first 5 minutes. The
There'd be
ref,
a booking.
if he had a bit of common sense, he'd say to the two team captains, look, there's enough tension here already, calm down, and, you know, hopefully you wouldn't have to issue cards.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the whole, I mean, maybe I'm being too simplistic in it, but I just think that as a referee in general, if you are, you should not be issuing yellow or red cards in the first 15 to 20 minutes of a game unless it is something totally outrageous. Because you don't want to set that tone for the rest of the game. Because you ended up in that game, you had 3 red cards, it wasn't even a dirty game.
Yeah.
You know, and everyone's going to come away thinking, "Oh my God, that must have been a bloodbath, 3 sendings off." You know, but it's not what happened.
To be fair though, like Thompson did what his so-called assistant referee had recommended, and I reckon that's why it took so long. I'm not sort of justifying the actions that he did, because ultimately it's his decision, but he essentially really technically sent off one player, because the 2 guys he sent off was based on what that linesman said. And not that I'm good at lip reading, but if you look at some of the chat that I think they're having, I think he's actually saying, "Are you sure? Are you sure?"
Yeah.
And you see the linesman sort of nodding, I'm nodding his head or pointing at someone. I can't quite remember. It was something like that anyway. So to be fair to Thompson, I think he stuffed up and whatever, but he's going on the say of his linesman, and that's what the linesman is there for. He's an assistant referee. He's maybe assisting the main sort of whistleblower, I guess, during the game. So if he sees something that he deems as a sending off offence, then it has to be sent off. But I just can't see. Not that I know where the linesman was at that point, but I'm fairly confident that when the whole sort of lashing out stuff happened with, especially with Van Dijk, that he was blindsided by that. He could not have seen that, because if the so-called stamp by Van Dijk is on the blind side, or it's on the other side of the player's legs, and I can't see how the linesman could have saw that. But anyway, that's another story. But
see, I think the interesting thing, I know you've said that you thought Brown's challenge was a shocker, and when you see the replay, it's a bad challenge. I'll agree with that. It's definitely a bad challenge. But the interesting thing, for all Craig Thompson missed a hell of a lot, he certainly didn't miss that challenge. But that went unpunished completely. There was a play on that was basically given, and that's why then Thompson's following play up, so his back's turned to it, and he's relying on the linesman who saw the subsequent events after that challenge. So I guess we need to look at it and say, well, Thompson, he's definitely seen the initial challenge. That a lot of people, including yourself, Pat, are saying that's the one that should have been punished the most, but he's actually seen that was fair in his view, or maybe it was a foul, but he's allowed play to go on. Now, maybe he would have came back and booked Brown retrospectively, but you'd think if that was his plan, he would have done that when he was dishing out the red cards.
I was going to say, Kev, I think you can't have advantage if you're going to book someone. I'm not sure about that, but I remember hearing that a while ago. If you've actually got to go and actually book someone, you're not meant to play advantage about that, because you're meant to stop the game and actually issue them with a card. Don't know if it's still the case.
We've seen it plenty of times before though, Martin. You see a retrospective yellow card getting issued for a bad challenge that was made, but play gets waved on. I've seen that plenty of times.
I don't think that's right, Martin. But
no, okay. As I said, I certainly thought that was the rule with that, because aye. But,
and to be fair, I mean, Browns came out and said, look, it was an aggressive tackle, but I got the ball, and okay, credit where it's due. I mean, the referee's standing a few yards away from him, so he must have seen obviously some contact in the ball. I was more concerned about the 2-footed. If that was against us, we'd be screaming from the rooftop saying the guy should be punished for it. So if you're going to dish it out, then you got to take it as well. But yeah, the whole stuff, especially Van Dijk. I'd have to watch it again, see what the linesman was, but I just reckon with he's reacting to something he thought happened, because Van Dijk's wasn't really that bad. I said the guy from Dundee United obviously took exception to it and has kind of tried to lash out to him. So I think it was a. And then obviously.
To be honest, sorry Pat, but to be honest, it's the linesman that's really made an arse of it, because what we haven't mentioned just now was his complete. He's basically told Thompson from the Dundee United player to get sent off. It was the wrong bloody guy for starters.
Yeah.
So I mean that's
yeah.
That's bound to get rescinded. I know you'd said earlier on before we started off, Martin, did he get his card rescinded? And I said I didn't really care as long as, because let's anybody that doesn't know right now, I'm sure you'll find out if you listen to this back later. But Big Virgil's had his red card rescinded, which is great news because he's available on Sunday for us. But to actually get the guy wrong, and that's the whole point of this as well. When Craig Thompson's given the guy the opportunity to say, right, I didn't see this, you're going to have to tell me what happened here, and I'm going to trust you. I'm going to trust you implicitly. But for that guy to totally get the wrong Dundee United player for starters, he's just made an absolute cock of it.
Don't you think after the Doogie thing, they'd have been like extra careful?
That's probably well out their mind now, Martin. If the Doogie happened a couple of months ago, maybe, but that's probably so far gone. It'll be the last thing in their mind. But yeah, the linesman has made an absolute arse of it, and he's hiding in the background of the whole thing. But
Thompson's he's taking the criticism, but essentially he's going on the guidance of his
well,
linesman.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and so you're right. Ultimately, it was his decision to take the linesman's decision or not. But I mean, I'm guessing, as you said, Pat, you could see a bit of what was being said through a bit of lip reading, but there was also other things that you couldn't see. But you'd have to think that as a referee, or as you'll know yourself, Pat, when you see the AFL, and the main umpire will go behind the goals and say, look, are you sure? Are you absolutely sure? The good thing about the Aussie rules is you've got that review thing that you can do. But I mean, Craig Thompson, surely God, he's been saying, look, are you 100% certain? Because I didn't see this. And if that wee guy said, yeah, I'm 100% certain, well, we know he's a liar for starters. But that's all you can judge Thompson on. If that wee guy said, well, I'm not so sure, I think it was this guy and I think it was Van Dijk, or I'm sure it was Van Dijk, I think it was this guy, then if Thompson's made the call on that, then he's as big an arse as the linesman is.
Well, he's based it on the colour of the guy's boots, because Peyton and that guy Butcher had both bright yellow boots. Can you lip
read that well, Pat?
No, I'm not saying that's what he's based on, but you look, the only way you could just again, I watched the replay and I sent it to you guys today. If you watch it, Peyton's got short sleeves, the other player's got long sleeves. Peyton, I think, is Irish, isn't he? Is he Northern Irish? Isn't he the guy that was basically sending out sort of racist tweets or something like that, or said something sectarian? I'm sure it is. Not so long ago when he gets suspended for it. I'm fairly certain he did. But anyway, so I think the other guy is Butcher. I'm fairly certain Scottish. He's Northern Irish. I don't really think they look that much alike. One's got long sleeve, one's got short sleeves, but they both have got bright yellow boots on.
You've put a lot of studying into this, Patrick.
No, I told you I watched that link I sent to you guys today. I just went, and I didn't realise you could do it, but on YouTube you can slow it down. You can slow it down to like quarter normal speed, and I just slowed it down. You see,
I was trying to do that actually while we've been talking there, but I couldn't do it. How do you slow it down?
There's a little cog next to the bottom right.
Oh, the little cog.
Little cog, yeah, that's it.
Oh, there it's there. Right,
yep.
Okay, but anyway.
So if you watch, and again it was, I forget what the time, but 1:30-ish. Yeah, rings a bell. I can't remember. I sent it, obviously, whatever that.
Aye, but 30 odd seconds into that clip.
No, there's a second replay.
Oh,
about I think it's about 1:30-ish, roughly into it. So you sort of fast forward to that one, you'll know what I'm talking about. So, but that was, I'm going, how on earth could you stuff up? And that's why when the linesman comes in, he comes in from the bottom right of the picture, and you just see him running in and grabbing the player and pulling him back. So that's what got me thinking about the whole Van Dijk thing. Is like, if Van Dijk thing happened right there's no way, if he's come in from a diagonal, there's no way he could have seen it. But anyway, again, it's.
Wait a
moot
minute.
point.
Wait a minute. I've got the slow mo on here right now.
Give us a commentary, Kev.
Wait a minute. It's the lip reading bit I'm getting. Lip reading.
Oh, you're doing lip reading? Oh, Jesus, you're clever.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
It looks. What he's saying.
Yeah, this is good for a live podcast.
Who foul what? Pot close. Housewife's favourite. There you are, and then he blows his whistle.
So is it Pat's fault that he got sent off?
It must be.
He was distracting the ref.
Well, I'm a Dundee United supporter apparently anyway, so yeah, fair enough.
That's very true.
Evidently. Pat was wanting to call this show United We Stand. But it soon get outvoted 3-1 that we're having none of that pish. Mr. Arab. Anyway. Right.
United we stand, not they stand. But anyway, never mind.
No, but it's too much.
Money
You
Arabs.
can't have United. You can't have United connotations.
Well, we're
with-
playing them 8 times in the next 2 days. I just thought it'd be something to do with United. But anyway,
No,
Dunderheid it was.
No. Dunderheid.
Giddy half the Arab world away.
Half the Arab world away.
That's pish. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on.
Moving
Right,
on.
okay. So, anyway, that was the big hoo-ha about that game. Now, let's not forget Lee Griffiths missed a penalty in that game, which I wasn't too happy about. There was another sending off, so Dundee United were down to 9 men.
Well, actually, let's quickly on that one.
Yeah.
Just again, a yes, no. Should he have been sent off for that? Was it a deliberate handball?
Whether it's deliberate or not, it stops a blatant goal, so yes, off you go, son.
What do you reckon,
Yeah.
Liam?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Martin?
I don't know. You know, the fact is, the ball would have gone in the net if he hadn't done
Correct.
that. He has to be out.
Yeah.
Martino?
Look, I'm not quite sitting in the fence with this one. I always struggle when it's not I'll throw my hand at it, but his hand was up. If your hand's up, you know, in the air, not next to your body, then I think it's a sending off. It's the ones I always struggle with is the ball's next to you, or your arm's next to your body. It's ricocheting around the area and comes off your arm, and you go, well, what was I actually meant to do there? You know. But to me, it was far enough away from his body. Send him off.
You see, that's what, as Liam said as well, that's what I've got a kind of issue with some of even those decisions that you say, but it was accidental or it was ball to hand. My view is that that caused, or it basically stopped a goal. There's no denying it. It was right on the line. If it hadn't hit his arm, it was a goal. Simple as that. There's no two ways about it. So maybe they should look at having the rule to say, you actually just award it. Don't award a penalty because you can miss a penalty. That guy has, you either keep the guy on, you award a goal, or you send the guy off and you give the penalty. Maybe that's the options that they give. Now, they'll probably never ever consider that, but yeah, if that guy didn't get sent off, as we saw, we missed the penalty. So what advantage have we gained from that? From basically stopping a goal with somebody's arm, rightly or wrongly.
Sorry, I would take it a thing further, because I remember us playing the old Rangers a while ago. One of their guys basically thrown his fist at the ball, it hit his fist, but then went in, and the ref just let it go and let the goal go. I would have actually still sent him off, because basically what's the downside is it's going to be a definite goal. Throw your hand at it. You got to give away a penalty. Well, it's going to be a definite goal, so it puts doubt. Maybe you'll be sent off. Maybe you can claim, you were thrown. But I would be, even if the ball goes in, I'd still be sending them off automatically.
That's a bit of a harsh double to get about. Hold on,
it's
one of those, from the one from the game note. So if that's your team, you're saying if that's your player, from your team, you think to yourself, that was a bit harsh. The ball played the man. It wasn't the other way around. But I'm kind of with you guys. I think it's maybe easier if you take away that the rules. I think at the moment it's more of an interpretation. I think the referee could have said, "No, well, okay, you handled it, but he didn't mean to do it, so that he stopped the goal. So it's a penalty." You could just change the rule by saying, right, if you handle the ball in the box, full stop. It doesn't matter if the ball plays a man and you try to do things deliberate or whether it's an accidental stuff. It doesn't really matter. If you hit the ball with your hand in the box and you're not a goalkeeper, it's a penalty. no matter what. So I think it's because it's open to interpretation from the referee. So
and bat deliberately aim it at people's hands or arms or stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. How easy is it just to chip the ball up into somebody's hand or arm?
Well, that's an extra skill. There you go. That's something you can practice in training. There you go.
That's all you do during the game. You've just invented a new game.
Yeah, there you go.
You just get the ball into the box anywhere, and then it's all about chipping the ball into somebody's arm or hand.
Stuff the crossbar challenge. That's it. You know.
Was it not a World Cup where I think it was Baggio did that? Flicked the ball off somebody's horn and won a penalty for Italy.
Oh, I can't remember now. You're going back.
Pretty sure it was the '98 World Cup, a game against Norway, I believe.
Oh, bloody hell!
What? Somebody need to Google
pulling this out.
Was it
98 World Cup? Italy against... No, wait a minute. Or 94 World Cup, maybe. Either 98 or 94. Italy against Norway, I'm sure it was. Italian, I think it was Baggio, flicked the ball off Norwegian's hand, got a penalty, the Italians won 1-0. Pretty sure that's what happened.
I'm impressed with that, if that's right, Liam. If that is right, I'm impressed with that, sir. 10 points. I'm going 10 points for being impressed with Liam there, I'd say.
But Kev, going back to your advantage thing, okay, we didn't get the goal, but could you imagine if that was in the 90th minute or the 92nd minute or the second minute of injury time? So where exactly is the the advantage there? You haven't scored the goal. The guys have been sitting off.
That's right.
You miss a penalty and you've lost the game. So,
that's right. It's a tricky one. I mean, thankfully the wee man redeemed himself, and you could see the relief in his face, I think, when he scored the goal. I must admit, I did think we'd go on and win it after that, whether we deserved it or not. Some might say, but up against I know we only had a one-man advantage, but up against the 9 men, there was plenty of space in the park. We totally dominated possession, albeit I think they did break once and gave us a little heart-stopping moment briefly. But I did think we'd go on and win it and not have to go through a replay. But at the end of the day,
United were pretty impressive, though. You got to admit.
Oh, they were. They're no mugs. They're no mugs.
So they've done pretty well. I mean, like as you said, when the goal goes in, you're just thinking, right, that's it. We're going to take it. Well, we're just going to rattle in another goal or two. And in truth, it was a lot of pressure, but they kept it compact. The chance they had was a bit of a half chance. It was a breakaway, but you're still panicking when it's kind of 1-on-1. Not with the goalkeeper, 1-on-1 with the defender. I can't remember who was tracking him back. Would it have been Beaton? Can't remember now. Or Ambrose, anyway. But I mean, the shot. I mean, Gordon had it sort of well and truly covered, but that would have been flipping. Geez, there'd been meltdown if we'd lost that one against 9 men. But the goal was an absolute. It was a stonker, and I loved the celebration. I think it was brilliant. Not just from Griffiths, but you watch the replay and you see what Diallo was doing as well, and all the fans in the background. It was just like it was a whole sort of outpouring of relief, I guess. Because let's face it, you're down to sort of you're a man up on a team and you're still 1 goal down. Yeah, it's just it's that sort of just absolute relief. But
well, I think it's that whole thing about, because let's face it, if it had ended up like that, the treble had gone. So I think it was that whole thing that we're still in the hunt, because there has been so much talk about the treble. Let's not kid ourselves. It's still on our minds, because we're getting to the pointy end of the season, as they say, and that was we came close to potentially giving up the treble then. So I think to get that equaliser and know that at least we're hopefully either onto a replay or going to win the game and the tie, then you're still in the hunt. Of course, Sunday coming up, it's another chance to stay in the hunt for a treble, or it could all be given up again, and it's against that team yet again on Sunday. But we'll talk about that a little bit in a few minutes' time, I suppose. But yeah, it was another strange game. It was another slightly disappointing in that after scalping Aberdeen, as we'd said, we had a little blip, as we thought, against St Johnstone, and then to come out of another 90 minutes not having won a game, slightly deflating. But I think the ref and the linesman ruined it anyway a bit after the initial sendings off. It's hard to say how it would have panned out Had those decisions not been made at that time. So, but anyway, we are where we are, gentlemen. We are where we are. Now, the next thing, again, since we've been on the last time, there has been, as we said, there's been a couple of great results for us, a few great performances, proud performances against Inter, and a couple of disappointing results the last couple of games, but there still seems to be great support for Ronny Deila from certainly the majority of the fans. That's certainly the way my take on it is, from what I see, from what I read on the internet and the various websites and listen to the other podcasts and things like that. But are we all on the same boat? Are we all still believe in the Ronny revolution as something that's a good thing, or is there any doubts that with those last couple of results that it's maybe not what a lot of people are thinking it's cracked up to be just now? What's your thoughts on that, Martin?
Well, I think he's shite, and I think we should bring in Stuart McCall. Oh, sorry, hold on. I've just checked the BBC. No, listen, I'm on board with it. I think he's playing good football. I think it's taking time to build it. I do think part of it at the start with the fitness may have been not quite a red herring, but it gave something to focus on rather than when he had to build his own team. I'm on board. I'm a massive fan. I even like the Ronny roar. I think it's just it's something we need. It's a bit of a character type thing. I'm all for it. And even if we don't do the treble, it's been a successful season this year, So I'm a fan. I'm a big fan.
Good on you, Liam.
Yep, I would pretty much go along with that. The thing that's kind of annoyed me a little bit from the journalist point of view is if you listen to Keevan's on Clyde, he's always going on about, well, let's see if he wins the treble, then I'll say if he's a successful manager or not. Now, has there ever been any other manager in Celtic or Rangers history who was expected to win the treble in his first season?
It's a good point, actually.
It's ridiculous.
I don't think they've ever had that kind of pressure put on them.
No, it's completely ridiculous, and it's just, again, it's the media pandering to the supporters of that other club by refusing to give any sort of due praise to a Celtic manager.
Yeah.
Aye. Can I also, right in the same line with that, Liam? See, when we were particularly shit, right, when we just had no money, it was going terrible. I didn't see them saying to the people across the city, "You don't win the treble, you're a disaster this year."
No, exactly.
And I'm talking about when we had no money, when we were signing players for the army and stuff. It just doesn't seem to be that balance. And realistically, today a treble is an extremely hard thing. Like, you think about it, we were talking earlier on about the St Johnstone game and losing that. To actually to win both cup competitions and win the league is extremely, extremely difficult to do. So that's, well, if he doesn't do it, it's a disaster. We go out in one of the cup games and just no our day. We play them off the field. We get 40 shots on goal. They don't even get a shot on goal. They take a dodgy deflection and win. Does that make the season a disaster? Does that make it the season? He's been a failure. How does that happen? We're playing good football now. To me, he's done enough now. I think part of it is they're just like the press are just trying to drag it. They're trying to do a couple of things. One, they don't want to say, Jesus, Celtic took a real punt on a guy that realistically nobody'd really heard of in Scotland. And it's worked out, right? The easiest one would have been for us to go and get an Owen Coyle, even Jackie McNamara type thing. Mm-hmm. We took a real punt going and getting somebody different. And part of it is, I think he doesn't have the press don't have the favours to pull in with him and everything. Because they've not helped him get the job and that. And as I said, he's been a success to me. He's been a success right now, and the idea that if he doesn't win the treble, it's a failure. That's just, to me, they don't understand how hard it is to win a treble. Yeah.
Pat, what's your view on the Ronny revolution?
Oh, I think it's going well. I mean, I think the the close season will probably determine what sort of legacy I guess he leaves Celtic with, because he's obviously got some decent players in now. We've got some fairly average players in that will hopefully get shot of, with Castle and these sort of guys that haven't really just hasn't worked, you know what I mean? So the big sort of question for him for next year is central defence, because it's more likely that it's going to be 2 new central defenders coming in there. So how he deals with that and how he copes with it will determine how we sort of progress next year. So it's been, I guess we're still in that sort of honeymoon period. We've now actually got a style of football, which I think that was probably your complaint, Kev, at the start of the year as well. There's no real direction. There's no system. There was no. You couldn't really see a light at the end of the tunnel. It wasn't really great football. But now we've actually things have clicked. The players it's clicked with the players, and they can kind of see the benefits of it. It's a hard. For me, it's a really tough sort of technique or I guess style of football to play, because you have to have fast players, you have to have fit players, clever, and that's obviously what they're trying to get in. They're trying, that's why Mackay Stevens in, and that's why Stuart Armstrong's in, because they just add that, I guess, that sort of dynamic element to the team as well. They're fast going forward and stuff like that. They track back, and I think to me that's what he loves in players. But so yeah, I'm sort of well and truly on board. And in terms of the media and stuff like that, I think in a way I don't think he's really helped himself. Like, he's really the one that's came out and started talking about treble. I don't really think that essentially really came from the media and stuff like that. Okay, you might have got some of the so-called Celtic men, if this is a treble, it'll be a tainted treble and all that sort of crap. And obviously guys like Chris Sutton and Hartson were very critical of him and stuff, but I think most, not all, but most Celtic fans are willing to give him that chance. And I remember even us in one podcast saying, well, you got to give him up to Christmas, New Year and stuff like that to see how he's performing. And that was several months ago. So that just shows you how quick things change. But to the same extent, it could all go tits up. We could lose a couple of players. The next centre half we could sign could be rubbish. It could get injured. You just don't know. So I'm going to sort of play cards a bit close to the chest. I'm happy the way things are going, but let's see how it progresses in the next sort of 12 months. Champions League's going to be a big one for him. I think my gut feel is that Lennon that was part of his remit, and his job was to qualify for Champions League. So I'm fairly certain there's going to be some element of that in Dyla's I guess job as well, that they're not so much expecting, but they they want to do well in Europe, and that's where we are really going to progress if we can get that sort of the money's one thing, but the experience is another. And also helps you attract other players. So, but we'll see. I mean, that's going to be a big one as well. We're not going to have much of a close season. We'll probably be playing football again in July for qualifiers, and so he's not going to have much time to work the transfer market. So hopefully they're got their finger out of their arse and they're actually trying to identify these players already. So because that's going to be a massive time for us to if Van Dijk goes, which I think most people would say he's going to leave. Denier, well, I saw an article today about forget the Man City player who's just signed an extension to his contract that basically puts Denier further down the ladder of centre halves in the team. So maybe, just maybe, he'll hang around for another year, which would be fantastic. He's 19 years old? 20 years old?
Yeah, he is. He's only 19, the guy.
Yeah, it's just astounding.
Incredible, man. He's, super.
But even if he's there, and I think, actually, there was something, come to think about, Dyla said something in an interview maybe 2-3 weeks ago about he'd like to get some experience, especially I think it's in central defence.
Yeah.
And I think, because the first thing I thought of when I heard that was Mastorovic. I just kind of laughed. For some reason, that's what I thought. Getting some with experience in there, but so maybe that's what
you've
you like.
Got to be good. Sure, we've all got experience, guys, but Jesus Christ, I bet you we're not that good at centre half.
No. Well, actually, Kev, I was a centre half with All Saints. Should I talk about my old football days?
Strutting about there, Patrick. You need to. You can't play with your glasses on, though, Pat.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't. Yeah, no, it's too embarrassing. I'm a specky bastard, but anyway. you know,
But I'd agree with your view that you're happy with the way things are rolling on just now under Ronnie. It's by no, and I don't think any Celtic fans are getting too carried away with it. But there was so many snipers before, I think, and so many. The majority, I think, were on his back rather than the minority. But I think that's swung around now, and there's still quite a few people that aren't fully supportive of him. But I think the majority now, which is the important thing, are. And I think there's a few factors that have influenced that. I think the Ronnie Roars had a big part to play because the fans, and again, this is where you've got to take your hats off to the fans that go away to the away games all the time, whether it's in the SPL or whether it's to Europe or whatever. But these are the ones that are always they go to see them home and away, and that's where you build these relationships with the backroom staff or the players. And I think to see Ronnie coming out and doing, what's been called the Ronnie Roar now, and it's getting as famous as the Celtic huddle, I suppose. Anytime we'll get a victory, he does his three wee punches into the air, and it's such a simple thing to do, but it just seems to have won over a hell of a lot of his doubters in terms of our fans, and they appreciate it. They appreciate him doing that when he comes up to them and he psychs them up and he does the Ronnie Roar, and it's a nice little kind of cliche that he's got going for himself now, and it's great to see him that he does it at Celtic Park as well. And the fans that go to Celtic Park get to enjoy that. It's even got to the stage that when you see the games getting shown on the telly, that the camera will actually still follow him to pick him up doing the Ronnie Roar. It's got that little kind of cult thing about it just now. So I think that's one of the things. I'm not saying that's the only reason that people like Ronnie Deila now, but that's certainly helped win over a few of his doubters. But we have seen progress. We've seen progress with Lee Griffiths. We've seen just very recently on the internet and on the interviews and things like that with Nir Beaton coming out as well and saying how he's kind of changed his ways after a few one-to-one chats with Ronnie Deila. And there does just seem to be this. There's an acceptance of Ronnie Deila now from the playing squad, which I think took them a while. When Neil Lennon had left, there was a few people that maybe they didn't quite buy into the ideas that Deila and Collins and the rest of the coaching staff were trying to bring in. But there seems to be a lot more acceptance and a lot more buy-in and a lot more support for what he was trying to do and what he is now doing. And I can only see us getting better. I think, I hope and I think that these last couple of results without winning these games have just been blips, and we do get back onto winning ways come certainly Sunday. And then that's going to be another boost that we'll need to go on and hopefully see the season out and clinch the league. And to take your point as well, Pat, I think you're spot on. We need to be wise in the transfer market, because it'll be very difficult if we do lose Van Dijk. Personally, he's, and I think I've said it on here before, he's the best centre half now I've ever seen at Celtic. And again, that's better than Paul Elliott was the other one that I'd always held up there as my best ever centre half I've ever seen. But not only that, I think this partnership that he's formed with Dunderheid is quite possibly the best centre half partnership I've ever seen in my lifetime at Celtic. Which is odd in a way, because Dunderheid, he's not the he's certainly not the tallest of centre halves, but he's got some jump on him, the boy, and he can weigh in with a few goals, and just his reading of the game and his composure. I think it complements. Well, the two of them complement each other really well. You've got Virgil, who's maybe the more physical presence, The two of them are pacey. The two of them are physical when they need to be. Athletic, two athletic centre halves, and I can't think offhand on a better partner. A better centre half pairing where the two centre halves have been so strong in so many areas. Sometimes we've had centre half pairings where you've got one dominant one and one that's not quite as dominant, but as a pair they work well together. But I just think this pairing we've got just now is, well, as I said, the best I've ever seen at Celtic Park. So just in my short life.
Pick up a couple of points there, Kev. The one thing that is annoying me about this whole Ronnie Roar is that Celtic are now selling Ronnie Roar t-shirts.
Oh yeah.
Oh really?
Why does that annoy you? Why does that annoy you?
It just bugs me. Stuff like that. I don't know.
You don't have to buy them.
I don't have to buy it. I just didn't like it. I thought it was a bit wanky.
I'm sure there's people will.
Well, the whole Ronnie Roar thing was kind of dreamed up by the press. I think they're just taking advantage of that. I didn't like it very much. But anyway, why not actually have some decent Celtic? Why not have some decent Celtic polo shirts and things like that people can buy rather than tacky just green round neck t-shirts and stuff? Because I look through Celtic Superstore these days and I reckon I'd hardly buy any of it. I just think it looks crap, most of the stuff. I hope when New Balance come on, there's going to be a bit of a change in terms of the style and stuff like that they provide. But I'm not liking the stuff they're selling at the moment. I don't find any desire to go in there and buy stuff from Celtic Superstore, but certainly not a Ronnie Roar t-shirt. Anyway, no doubt somebody will turn up at one of our games one in the morning.
I'm wearing one now. I've got mine on now.
Yeah. And
I'd need to see it.
Yeah, but
I'd need to see the Ronnie Roar, but
I'll jump on Celtic Superstore. You know what I'm talking about.
It's on the front page, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much like a screen printed picture of Ronnie with the Ronnie Roar at the bottom of it. So I might even jump on in case I'm getting it wrong, but that's the one I saw the other day. So, but yes, not sure about that. But yeah, the other one.
Dear, quite touchy, Pat. But so wait, let me get this clear though. You don't like the Ronnie Roar, or you just don't like the fact that Celtic have turned it into a t-shirt?
It's turned into a t-shirt. I think it's one of those.
Yeah, but do you like the Ronnie Roar? Do you like the premise of the Ronnie Roar?
I like the passion he's showing at the moment. I like the old Martin O'Neill style, and even Neil Lennon did it as well. When Celtic score, I want to see the manager celebrate like we do.
Absolutely.
And there was a lot of criticism, probably more stuff I'd read online, like way back when he first came. It was almost like he's clueless. He stands at the side of the park and he doesn't know what he's doing. And there's no passion and stuff like that. Christ, there's certainly passion now. You see him when he scored. Yeah. Again, just watch the replay of the United game when that goal went in. I would have just loved for Griffiths to have ran right over to where the coaches were, because I reckon they'd have flipping self-combusted. They were just exploded there on the spot. They were celebrating. The fans in the background were celebrating. Griffiths was in the middle of the park celebrating. If he'd ran right over to them and all jumped into a big huddle, that'd have been fantastic. But anyway, hindsight and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I'm loving that sort of passion from all of them, I guess. And long that sort of may continue, but hopefully if we do win on Sunday, then he might do something out of the ordinary that we think of the when he stripped off at Strumgodset. So
yeah, he's went on record as saying he definitely won't do that.
I'm not saying do that, but
something
something memorable, put it that way.
Something similar. Well, what about that? Because the more I was thinking about it there, and I haven't really thought about it much more until I mentioned it there. But see that centre half pairing. Let's just put it out there. Who's your best centre half pairing that you've seen at Celtic? I'm intrigued to know your guys' view, because just having thought about it there, I'll stand behind what I said earlier.
I think we might save that for the next one. Give us a bit of a chance to go into the Celtic wiki, and because you kind of forget, back in the old days when I started going, I still think of guys like Roy Aitken and that playing in there. I can't even remember who he'd be playing with. It might be Tom McAdam and all those sort of players.
Mick McCarthy.
Mick McCarthy was there. I loved Mick McCarthy. I thought he was a great player. But even to a certain extent, Mowbray came in. He was we needed somebody like that to come in and boss and just be aggressive and put up a bit of a fight. Even guys like him coming in and doing the same thing. And then you get to Caldwell and these sort of guys as well. So Effie, last year with Virgil as well. So they did okay for a while, but Let's do that. Let's do that for the next one, I reckon. Let's just spend 5 minutes or 10 minutes on the Celtic wiki, and we'll come up with our best centre half pairing. But one thing
by that time I can't be arsed with it, Pat.
Well, Liam will put it on the agenda, and you'll have to be arsed.
It'll be gone.
You'll have to be arsed. But like going back to the whole thing about a centre half pairing, maybe he should be looking at left back, because I'm just not sure Izagiri's his sort of player. I think Izagiri is giving us a lot of grief at the moment. You know, the game on Sunday when he pretty much passed the ball to United to little Aiden, whatever his name, or not to him, to the, I can't remember who played it to now, but to the player that passed it on to that guy who got the penalty, Aiden flipping whatever his name is. The ball's going out of play. There's nobody near him, and he tries to keep it in. I think he was trying to either hoof it up the park or pass it to Stokes, and he's played it right to the United player, who's then walks in, pass it to Conley, and he's got the penalty. So what on earth was he thinking? I just think of that game, you think of the Inter goal when he's smacked the ball off Van Dijk, at Celtic Park, and I think that maybe they should be looking at a left back as well. So you're talking about pretty much a whole defence. At the very worst, they should be looking for backup for Izagiri, because at the moment he has literally no competition.
That's true.
Would you be inclined to stick Matthews there rather than, if Lustig's fit, would you stick Matthews at left back rather than Izagiri?
Potentially. It's hard to say, but you're right. We should be looking for you're right, left back's a weak spot, in as much as we haven't got any cover there at all. And you're spot on. Izagiri can make mistakes defensively. He's certainly a better attacking player than he is a defensive player. And we've got plenty of evidence to prove that, I think. But I would agree, we really do need to strengthen that left back position. It's a pity that both Lustig and Matthews seem to be getting quite injury prone as well, because I rate the two of them, and I think in terms of cover in that position, if the two of them could stay injury free, it'd be great. Again, my first choice would be Lustig. But Matthews isn't that far behind them in my mind. But it's just a pity that I think we have suffered in the last couple of games where we've had to put Effie into that position, and it just doesn't offer the same going forward as either Lustig or Matthews do. You could maybe argue defensively, Effie he does not bad in that position, not great but not bad. But it takes something away from our team when we're without Lustig or Matthews on the right back position.
See, I'm surprised they didn't go for that guy Dixon that United got, because when he left there, he was a fairly decent player. Went down south, didn't quite work out for him, and then all of a sudden he's popped up back at United again. And I could be wrong, but I think there was interest in him from Celtic, when he went down south. So I'm surprised he didn't at least, because the sort of guy you'd get on the cheap as well, and certainly a young enough player that you can help develop as well. But anyway, obviously decided not to take that chance. So
maybe we could sign. Now I know he's knocking on a little bit, but if you recall, guys, when we beat Manchester United in the Champions League when Nakamura scored that blinder of a free kick, can you remember who pretty much snuffed Cristiano Ronaldo out of the game? Our right back that night.
No.
Can anybody remember?
Right back that night.
I've got nothing, boys.
Patrick?
Come on, Kev. No, just go for it. I'm looking at something else online. Tell us.
I forgot his name now.
Not Paul Telfer.
It was Paul Telfer.
Jesus Christ. It was Paul Telfer, Kev.
It was Paul Telfer, mate. He snuffed him out. Snuffed Ronaldo out of that game. He hardly kicked a ball.
Yeah, I think Paul Telfer's probably about 80 years old now. So
get him back for a season then.
Well, you could get my all-time favourite left back. Not Celtic related, obviously.
Obviously, is he an Arab? Is he an Arab?
No, he's a German player. A guy called Hans-Peter Briegel.
Oh, quality. But only if he's got the beard.
Hans-Peter
Perm and Perm beard.
No, you're thinking of Paul Breitner.
Oh, Paul Breitner, I'm thinking.
Oh, this is Hans-Peter Briegel. If you go on, he was about 6 foot tall. He wore his socks right down to his ankles. I remember that. He was a flipping athlete of a man. My favourite left back. Still remember him.
There you go.
Played in the World Cup, a couple of World Cups. So anyway, I'm going to go and...
Darius Dovcik there was a good left back. I liked him.
Aye.
But anyway,
this isn't a Germany podcast. But anyway, yeah, I think he's a gear. Well, we should, again, it's one of those ones. It's somebody in Scotland that's at the very least got potential and could sort of at least compete with him for a game, or is it one of those ones where you try and bring someone through that there's nobody really coming through the youth team at the moment? There's, or do you just say, let's go abroad and find somebody? But certainly the way of things at the moment is they're looking sort of, in Scotland, or probably the lower leagues in England, I guess. But again, there's nobody jumping out. For me, it's good enough. But in fact, what was the guy from Partick Thistle? Remember the hyphenated name guy that from Partick were going to sign at one stage, and he was meant to be signing, and then all of a sudden it fell through. That was a couple of years ago as well. Did he just kind of fizzle out? Did he disappear? Or?
Oh, I can't remember that boy's name, but I remember who you're talking about.
Yeah, and that kind of just disappeared. Like, was he just not that good, or But anyway, there's players like that. I'm sure are going to be around, and so if you are going to look at someone at least to compete with Azagiri, if not replace him, then you're talking about a left back and two centre halves, and then we've got two right backs that are slightly injury prone. You'd like to hope one of them at least is fit. So out of a full defence, potentially you'd want to look at replacing or strengthening at least 3 positions in it, and that's before you even start looking at forwards and
Yeah.
I mean, Guidetti looks as if he's gone, which I think.
I honestly wouldn't mind if he goes elsewhere, because he's not done enough for me.
Well, if you recall, I predicted this way back at the start when people are saying, "Oh no, he's going to sign." He's played a blinder. He's basically used us to get his next step. So, and that's exactly what he's trying to do.
I wouldn't be surprised if people he'd gained their attention, that they've just thought, nah, I'm not interested, because he's not really covered himself in glory the last. He's apart from his cracking goal against Inter Milan, he's flattered to deceive in plenty of games. He doesn't really offer that much. That purple patch he went through, let's not forget, a few of those goals were penalties, and a few of those goals, there was a couple of them were absolutely outstanding free kicks, but he's not managed to recreate them since. But his goals from open play are few and far between.
Yep. I reckon he's.
So if he does go, well, put it this way, he's only on loan anyway, so I wouldn't be. He's a character, there's no doubt about that. But and he sings the Huns are deed, as we've probably seen the clip as well. But other than that, no, I think there's far better out there than John Guidetti. Far better.
I'd agree with that.
Just want to quickly talk about the stuff in the chat room. Just for anyone that is listening in Australia, 6-2 Kangaroo was a bit naffed off that BN Sports weren't showing it, but it's on SBS.
What is?
It's the League Cup final.
Is it?
It's not on BN Sports, it's on SBS, yep.
6-2 Kangaroo. I was certain it was in BN Sports.
Well, BN Sports had it, but they farmed it out to SBS because they're showing something else. So there's 2 cup finals, I think, from what I remember, that BN Sports had rights to, and I think both were in must be the English League Cup or something. They're both on SBS Live. So.
All right.
SBS
okay.
for those overseas, not in Australia, is Kunsel Telly. So anyway, that's one
thing.
But
surely 6-2 Kangaroo, that's a good thing, because everybody can get SBS.
No, but he didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, he's raging that BN Sports are not showing it. It's on delay on Monday morning, and then I told him it was on SBS. And now
right.
happy,
I'm with you now. I'm with you. Happy days.
Right, so
what are these bastards showing? I'm just on it just now.
So Paul Rush, in the chat room, has told Liam that the game he's talking about was Italy versus Chile in the '98 World Cup. It was a bad joke,
there you go.
So there you go.
There you go.
And he's also.
I'm still impressed, though, Liam. You still keep your 10 points, mate.
It was a team in red. I was nearly there.
You were, mate. You were.
And he's also said to remind us that today is the 9th anniversary of Jinky's passing, and I just told them we'd covered that at the start of it. So
we did.
God bless you, little fella.
Yeah. So listen to the start and you'll hear the Wakes playing the Uncrowned King of Football again, which is a classic track and a great dedication to the wee man.
And I named my dog after him.
You did?
Yep.
She was good.
Jenkins.
Right, guys, I'm going to... sorry, Pat, when you go.
No, I was going to say my kids are...
Oh, get your mention in about your dog. When you go.
No, I'm happy that my kids, when they introduce them to the friends and stuff, what's your dog's name? They call him Jinky Johnson. They don't say Jinky. Here's my dog, Jinky Johnson. And they're walking around. I don't even remember doing it, but obviously I was singing this in my head, and my kids are walking around the house going, Jinky, oh Jinky Johnston, oh Jinky Johnson on the wing. And they had to ask me what the wing meant, because they don't play football, they play footy. They don't play soccer over here. So.
And then you sat them down and explained to them what the wing was, and it took you 6 hours. 6 hours.
Right, and this is the offside rule. Yeah, that took a while. But anyway, sorry, man. Wee Jinky's doing fine. He's in good form.
That's good.
He hasn't pooed in the house yet, which is good.
Right, guys, let's look forward to the big finale on Sunday. League Cup final against... Who's it we're playing again? Oh, yes, it's Dundee United. The only team we seem to... Dundee Hibernians, the only team we seem to play ever this weather. Guys, whatever anybody thinks about League Cup, it's still a final, and we're in it, and it's there to be won. Now, will there be any bearing from the game during the week? Is that going to have any bearing at all on the outcome of this game on Sunday? I'll ask you first, Martin.
No, we're going to hump them.
Oh, you beauty. Your predictions aren't usually that great, but so give us a prediction, Martin. Let's test you out here.
4-0.
Interesting. It's definitely a bonus that Big Virgil's going to be available to us. My favourite centre half ever. I think there's no doubt about that. But it is going to be some occasion. In fact, some stats for you guys. The last time we won a League Cup final, can you remember when that was?
I can remember because I read it today.
It'll be 6 years ago to the very day, the 15th of March, 2009.
Yep.
We beat a club that's no longer with us. 2-0.
Airdrie?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was a club called Rangers.
I don't
Rangers, remember. And I must admit, when I was looking this up earlier on, just to say when was the last time we won that, and I thought, 2-0. I can't even remember that. But it was when I read about it. Then it came back to me, and it was 0-0 at full time. And we beat them 2-0 in extra time, and it was Darren O'Day scored a header. And then Aidan McGeady. You remember? And then Aidan McGeady scored a last minute extra time goal to make it 2-0. And we put them in their place. But that was the last time we won the League Cup. It's never been our most favourite competition. And we haven't won it as much as we would probably have liked to. But yeah, it's 6 years ago since we won it, guys. So it's.
There's a funny thing about that game. I've just remembered. I was living in southern Japan at that time. I was living in Okayama, and I was, for some reason, because we were playing the Huns, I was nervous about the game. I wasn't sure about the result. I went into the local 7-Eleven to get my carry out before the game, because the game was about a midnight kickoff here, right? So I go in, and I saw this bottle of sake. Now, I don't normally drink sake. I mean, I like it, but it's not usually my football drink, you know?
Mm-hmm.
There it was, emerald green bottle with a gold and white label on it. I thought, that'll...
Made for you.
I pick it up, I took it to the counter. Guess how much it was? 1,888 yen.
That's good.
Oh, that's the omens. We're going to win.
1888, and sure enough, it came true. And how much is 1,888 yen?
Today's money, roughly about 12 quid.
12 quid. Not bad. $24, lads. Ish.
That was only for a litre, mind you.
Still good though. The omens were there.
I actually got thinking about when my first ever League Cup final. Someone mentioned it in our podcast recently. Can't remember if it was Homeboys or 90 Minute Cynic, but you've probably seen it in lots of Celtic videos. It was we beat the Huns 2-1 at Hampden. It was getting renovated at the time, so basically we were in Celtic again, and that was it. There was no. Remember the enclosure? Used to have the enclosure.
Yeah.
Down the side of it, and there was no enclosure, and all the Rangers. It was absolutely bucketing down rain, and it was. You'll probably see the goals. It was Murdo McLeod scored the winner, not the winner, but he put us 2-0 up. But a cracking Charlie Nicholas goal comes in from the side, left foot, bottom corner.
What year's this, Pat? What year's this?
82, Kev. 1982.
Jeez, man. You were 10, son.
11
10?
years old. Yeah, 11 years old.
11?
At Hampden, with me and my cousin Brendan, my Uncle Thomas. So I went to the game. So absolutely, I just remember it being pouring down rain. I remember Hampden getting renovated. I remember it being really, really dark, and we were right at the very front of it. So happy days. I remember Jim Bett as well. Jim Bett scored for the Huns, which really annoyed me because he was from Airdrie, and that really bugged me. The fact that Jim
was
Bett
he not born
against
in Iceland? Was he not born in Iceland or something?
I
Jim
think
Bett?
he played in Iceland. No, he was an Airdrie, but I think he was born in Airdrie. But he played for some team in Iceland, then I think, played for Aberdeen that as well. He wasn't a bad player, actually, Jim Bett.
Oh, I rated him. There was,
Aye, it was good. It was good.
Aye, there was a season or two he was brilliant.
Yeah, he played well with Aberdeen. I don't think he did too well with the Huns, I can remember,
No.
but I remember
I
Aberdeen
remember
was...
more as an Aberdeen player than a Hun, to be honest.
Yeah, he played definitely played for
Yeah,
Rangers,
yeah.
but and maybe might even have played for Scotland, but now he was a fairly decent player. But that was the happy days for me. That was my era of Celtic, with Packy Bonan, Danny McGrain, and these sort of guys, Roy Aitken, Burns, McLeod.
Now's
McClare.
your era as well, Pat. Now's your era. It's all of our era for Celtic.
It is our era, yeah. Anyway, I don't want to reminisce too much. Anyway, moving on. So predictions. then,
Because we're
Kev.
previewing this game. So yeah, do we think last week's going to have any bearing at all on the outcome of this game?
The fact that all the players are now going to be playing means there's less impact. If you'd lost one or two players from either team, then it might have. So they lose Chiefchi. So he's out suspended because he got
Which is a big loss. Which is a big loss for them.
It's a massive loss for them.
I would suggest. Yeah.
So it depends how they're going to approach it. They don't have that sort of guy to kick Scott Brown in the head anymore, so they'll need to find somebody else to do that. So yeah, for them it's a big loss. It's going to be, and I predicted this before the Sevco game as well. I think a fair bit of it's going to be based around the surface. I know it got relayed and all that sort of stuff, but whether that's in good or bad condition could be an important factor as well, because the pitches at the moment aren't exactly, it's just that time of the year, and I don't think Celtics is up to much either, but the pitch on Sunday was fairly average. Yeah, and it's not really good for the style of football that we play. The ball's bobbling all over the place. It'd be interesting to see how Hampden actually copes with the shit weather and the relayed turf and that sort of stuff as well. If we're playing in a bowling green, I think we could smack them. But if it's going to be a mud pit again like it was on Sunday, that's different. That changes the outlook on things.
I think as we know, when we signed Gary Mackay-Steven and Stuart Armstrong, we knew that obviously we wouldn't be able to play them in the cup competitions because they were cup tied, but we knew also we were weakening Dundee United for this final. But I think in a strange way, yes, although we've weakened that team, I think, and I didn't mention this earlier on, but I do think we certainly missed both Armstrong and Gary Mackay-Steven's presence in that Scottish Cup game last weekend, quite bizarrely. So for all Dundee United are weakened because, yes, as you said, Pat, they'll be missing Chifchi. They'll also be missing Mackay-Steven and Armstrong, who we gained. But because we're not able to play those guys, it slightly weakens what I believe is our strongest starting 11 now as well, which is quite a bizarre thing to say.
Actually, you've also got is Beaton injured as well? Is he? I've only
They're
read little
saying
snippets.
he's certainly not a certainty, but he's not been completely ruled out yet either. I don't think was the last I read. But he's been quite a key player for us recently, and I would totally agree with what you mentioned earlier on in the St Johnstone game, Pat. With him not starting, it changed our team, and he made a difference when he came on in that game against St Johnstone. So we did miss him. He's quite a key player for us just now. So I would hope that he's available. But let's do the rounds. Let's get the predictions. Martin, you've already given us it's 4-0. Who's your goal scorers in the 4-0 romping?
Virgil, all 4.
You obviously agree with me. He's such a quality player that he can just pop up and bang in. Just a hat-trick.
He's got to run riot and just got to do that. You sent me off wrongly. Stick it up, bang, here's 4.
One header and the other 3 is when he walks his right from the back and just bangs him into the inging bag, as they say.
There'll be one. I'm going. No. There'll be one. There'll be one goal by header from outside the area. That powerful.
Your predictions just get more bizarre by the week, Martin.
Thank you very much. I take that as a compliment.
You could go to any bookmakers, mate, and they'll say, "Name your price, Mr. Kelly. Name your price." But I, for one, hope you're spot on with that prediction. But Liam, what's your scoreline prediction, and who's your goal scorers?
Right, I think 3-0 to Celtic. I'll say I think Van Dijk will get one. Header for a corner. I think Griffiths will get one, and I fancy wee Bruni to score an all.
Oh, brilliant! To put all this pish about, he's a drunken bum and browning out and all that bollocks from the Super Soaraway Sun that we saw on the internet, certainly this morning anyway. Well, I hope Martin's prediction was right, but I also hope your prediction was right, Liam. Now, Patrick, what about yourself?
Well, I'm going to follow Liam. And thanks, Paul, for reminding us this in the chat room. I'm going to go for the same score as in the 1997-98 League Cup final when we played Dundee United.
Oh, aye.
At Bigot Dome.
That's right. At the Death Star.
3-0. So, and Henrik Larsson's going to score.
I actually watched that game in Mumbai, in a hotel in Mumbai. About a week after it had finished, it was shown on cable, and I just finished a big trip and watched it there, and it was brilliant.
A big trip as in you were taking drugs?
No. Drugs are for mugs.
Oh, okay.
LSD.
Yeah. He was tripping. So I'm going to go for 3-0. I was almost right last time we played at Hampden, and I'm going to predict someone will score with an overhead kick.
Oh, jeez. You were, but you're going to say
close.
Who?
Well, part of me saying that Griffiths will do it, but we'll go with Griffiths. We'll go with Griffiths for the overhead kick. Johansson, I just don't think they've got an answer for him. I reckon he'll be splitting their defence. I think he's just too good a player. It'll be one, and one of the defenders, either Dunderheid or Van Dijk. I'm not quite sure which one, but take a punt for Van Dijk. So Van Dijk and.
So wait a minute. So Van Dijk's getting a goal from three of you so far.
Really? Oh, I'll go for Dunderheid then. I was going to say one of the centre halves, just to be different. So Dunderheid will score, and who did I say? Johansson and Griffiths. 3-0.
Okay.
And no sendings off.
Right, so Martin's going for 4-0, Liam's going for 3-0, Pat's going for 3-0. So they're not. So you reckon Dundee United aren't scoring at all?
No.
Well, I've got an interesting statistic for you boys.
Mm-hmm.
Because the last time we won the League Cup, which, as I said earlier on, was 2009. Now, I should say here, this statistic and the previous statistics and info I gave you about that last League Cup final, courtesy of the CelticWiki.com. So you can, as you all know, you can go in there and find out some great information, but that's where I'm getting a lot of this stuff from just now. But apparently, when we haven't conceded a goal at all in the League Cup, and apparently we've only played 3 games or something like that, right enough. We only have to get to a final. But apparently the last twice that's been done, that's been the same. Whoever's won the League Cup, they haven't conceded a goal. So, for you guys to say 4-0, 3-0, 3-0, you would be keeping that going there, guys, without the opposition scoring any goals against the winners. So I'm going to take that into consideration for my little prediction, but I'm only going to go 2-0 to Celtic.
Okay.
But I'm going to go goal scorers. I'm going to go Anthony Stokes, which is a little bit out of left field, quite literally, because he'll be playing out there because there'll be no Stuart Armstrong. So I reckon Stokes will be playing. And I also reckon the other goal scorer is going to be Stefan Johansson. Just for the way what you said as well, Pat, just the way Johansson gets forward. Even although Big Virgil, I love him to bits, I think he'll be too busy just keeping things tight at the back. So I'm going for 2-0 Celtic, Stokes 8 and Johansson. And we'll all be happy, guys, because we'll all be lifting the first trophy of the season. Happy days by the sounds of things. I hope one of us is right, put it that way. I don't mind which one, as long as we lift the trophy. It'll be good.
So looking at, again, just on Wikipedia, the last 3 times we've won it. We beat the Huns 2-0, we beat Dunfermline 3-0, we beat Kilmarnock 3-0, we beat Aberdeen 2-0, and we beat Dundee United 3-0. They're all 2-0s and 3-0s. So
it's time for a change, so I'm going to be right.
You've got to be right one of these times, Martin.
Exactly.
in fact, are these predictions that we do, have we been right with any of them ever?
Oh, we've been spot on. I'm sure I was spot on 2 weeks. 2 weeks in a row one time.
I've been right a couple of times.
I find that hard to believe, Martin.
Yeah,
You're always mental. You're mental with your predictions.
Yeah, you're talking fish, Martin.
But no, we have, Pat. No, we've done not bad with the predictions.
Okay, no, I believe you. We should.
And I'm not just talking about scorelines, I'm talking about goal scorers as well. I'm pretty sure there was a prediction that we got not only the score right, but the actual goal scorers as well. Can't remember which game offhand now, but I'm pretty sure it happened. But anyway.
Right, so that's I know we're kind of coming to the end of the show, but so we've got predictions for that game. We're going to be playing them again a few days later in the Scottish Cup replay. Now, from what I remember, there's no Stefan Johansson. He got booked, so he'll miss that game as well.
He'll be a bad miss.
Yep. So, what do we reckon what do we reckon the next week? We'll go Dundee United and then Dundee United. So there you go. So we've got the Scottish Cup quarter-final, both at Celtic Park. Scottish Cup quarter-finals on Wednesday night, followed by Saturday afternoon in the Premiership, the SPL. So 2 predictions for them then, quickly.
All right.
2-0 and 2-0 again. I'm going 2-0 the whole way for all 3 games. 2-0, 2-0, 2-0.
Marty?
2-0 and then 7-3.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Fair enough.
Why not?
Each their own. Liam, cup finals, quarterfinals.
Right, I'll say 3-0 and then maybe 2-1. Next thing will be a bit closer. That's what I reckon.
In the league game.
Oh, in the league game or not? I'll say 1-0.
Right.
Well, I think I'm going to go for Scottish Cup quarterfinal is going to be 3-1. We're still going to smack them. And then in the league game, we are really going to smack them.
It's at Celtic Park, the league game, isn't it?
Yeah, league's at Celtic Park. It's going to be 5-0.
Oh.
In the league game.
And Stuart Armstrong and Gary Mackay-Steven will score in that game because they'll be allowed to play. They'll be allowed to play against them for once.
At least one of them will score. At least one of them. So I'm going to go for an absolute spank.
I'll go for
fans
that,
are going to be fired up for it. So yes, but I'm giving them a token goal in the Scottish Cup replay.
Who'll that be? Chifchi?
I don't know. On goal. Ambrose. They don't even score a goal, they've been on goal. So yes, there you go. 3-0, 3-1, 5-0. Easy. Right, so we need to wind this up.
Guys, we are winding it up because I've got a movie to watch with the boy, I think. So he's already chapped the door and says what's going on. So
well, I've got to hurry up and do my Dundee United podcast now. So
half the world Arab. Right, guys, I'm not even going to do the round of rounds here, but I'm just going to say before Pat plays this out, Liam, I'm going to ask you. It's another anniversary today, mate, and this show is called Half the World Away, not half the world in Australia away. It's for anybody that's in this, I guess, time zone, half the world away from paradise. But as well as we Jinkies anniversary 9 years ago. It's 4 years ago since there was quite an event in your homeland just now, mate. Do you want to give us a wee spiel about this anniversary, and then Pat will play us out with something appropriate?
Basically, Wednesday just passed was exactly 4 years since the what's known in Japan as the Great Tohoku earthquake, which was the earthquake and tsunami that hit northern Japan, and you know, a lot of people have still never been found, but they reckon about 10,000 people died that day. And there's still tens of thousands of people who have lost their homes and have not been rehoused yet. And lots of others who, you know, in the years to come, there's going to be a lot of ongoing suffering. You know, there's going to be radiation fallout. There will be people getting cancer and things like that. And hopefully when the time comes, the government has the capability to deal with that. But that's another story. As I say, there's a lot of people still suffering because of what happened. People who, as I say, lost loved ones, but the bodies have never been found. People who are still homeless. People who, you know, broken families who maybe lost a husband or a wife or lost their kids and are still trying to move forward. You know, I've even heard stories of English teachers doing the same job as me who were killed in that area, you know. So I just want to say to everybody who's still keeping going as a result of the earthquake, you know, I just say to them all, in Japanese we say ganbate. That means keep going, do your best. And all the best to all those people out there. And I'm sure everybody connected with Celtic, connected with this podcast will join me in wishing them all the best for the future. And we've got a wee song to play out in tribute to all you people.
Absolutely, Liam. Well said, mate. And hail,
Thanks.
hail.
Hail, hail.
When you walk through a storm, hold your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of a storm, there's a golden sky and the sweet silver song of love. Walk on